Hello, everyone, and welcome to La Vida Fútbol. So, I'm doing a live stream just to give an update of what's going on in Germany with youth football, amateur football, and yeah, leagues up until the fifth tier, fourth tier, which is called the Regionalliga here in Germany. Um, so the situation is, of course, nobody's allowed to play, nobody's allowed to train. Parks are still closed. Parks are still forbidden to use. So that means that sports facilities and other, gyms, sports centers, and any other, futsal places, indoor soccer places, they are all forbidden. This week there is supposed to be a sort of like a big meeting, a big virtual meeting between coaches and different associations here, or the football associations here in Germany, which is pretty cool because I think some coaches are allowed to participate and really just give input. So whatever your opinion is, you can definitely just send it out, and I guess it's could be quite selfish, could be quite helpful as well. So here's why it could be selfish, because if you're, for example, currently in the top position, um, then you might request that the league ends the way it is, and then you start next season, from the beginning, right? So that would be something that would be beneficial, obviously, for those teams that are in first place. But let's say you're in last place, or second to last, or third to last. Um, you may want to consider, finishing the season, therefore trying to get yourself out of, the last places, on the table. Now, the reason that's important here in Germany is because the leagues are set in promotion and relegation. Meaning, if you're in first place, then you get the chance to get promoted. Whereas if you're in the last two to four places on the table, then you have the possibility of getting relegated. Okay, so I think that's where it could be a little bit unfair, so to speak. But I think that's I still think that it's helpful to get the opinion of coaches, and then coaching directors, youth coaching directors, and for them to express how they think, how they feel, and just to try to come up with a good solution. I think, obviously, the expression goes, two heads are better than one. But now, when you have a lot of heads thinking, then you can start grouping ideas. You can start grouping different situations, and coming up with uh, multiple multiple solutions through multiple ideas, and then essentially, filtering, and obviously, when you have a lot of coaches, the platform can become saturated, and you can have one too many ideas. But once the ideas start getting grouped and then start getting filtered, then of course, you can start really pinpointing the ones that are realistic, and that could be helpful. So, I mean, what do I think? I think that what could happen is so essentially, here's where we are with respect to league play. So the season starts in August, and the season ends in June. So you have this long season, and in each league you have anywhere between 12 to maybe 15, 16 teams. Um, and then relegation and promotion is it's kind of uh, changing, not changing, but it's different depending on where you play. So some tables have 1 to 2 teams that promote. Most likely, it's just one, um, but some have more than one. For example, if you're in the 4th tier, there are more possibilities of getting promoted because the the 3rd tier is now professional, so it's no longer semi-professional or what we consider also amateur. Um, it's still very high level, but the 3rd division is professional, the 3rd liga, and the 4th tier is of course that next level. So in that division, there's more possibilities of being promoted. Um, by possibilities, I mean more places. Possibilities are actually much more difficult because you actually have to go through a regional tournament, and then the 4th tier is divided into different regions. So you have to, you become a regional champ, and then from there you still have to compete to get to one of these positions to play in the 3rd division. But there's more than one. There's more than one place, right? But let's say, for example, my team, I coach an under-17 team, and we have 12 teams, and 1 gets promotion and 2 get relegated. Okay, so so that's a little bit different, all right? Whereas in the 4th tier, you have, I would say, I think 4 teams that get relegated, and then 1 team that gets promoted per region, or the possibility of getting promoted per region. Okay, so now I give that background so that I can tell you what I think. Okay, so now in the season, at least for my team, we have 24 teams. So that means that we have 22 matches. I'm sorry, 12 teams, meaning we have 22 matches, right? So that means we play home and away versus the 11 other teams in our league. Okay, and we play in the 5th tier. That's the Lower Saxony Landesliga division, and in that division we play. We have played 11 of our matches. So then that means that we are actually halfway through through our season, and now that would mean that there's 11 more games, and it's very difficult to say that the first place team is going to finish in first and that the last place team is going to finish in last, right? But it's a good indicator of what is likely to happen, right? And of course, in every once in a while, you have one of those teams that's a bit of an outlier, meaning at this point they are so far ahead that it's almost it's unrealistic for them to not be champions, right? So for example, Liverpool right now is actually in that situation, simply because of course they are so far ahead in the table that it's almost, I think they would have by this point, had there not been a coronavirus pause in sports, then I think by now Liverpool would have been the champion of the English Premier League. Okay, so that is an example of an outlier. That happens also in the youth and amateur divisions. And just as you can have an outlier in first place, you can also have an outlier that is so far behind that it's unlikely for that team to be in a non-relegation situation. So when it comes to these outliers, I guess it would be good to essentially kind of do a mathematical. There should be a mathematical number that would make a team qualify for as an outlier. And if the team qualifies as an outlier, then I would say make that team either go up or go down, right? Or allow this team to go up and be the champion, or essentially have that team go down. Okay, and I think that's something that could essentially be fair in some way, just because I think a team that is, let's say, 15 points ahead of second place with 10 games to go, I think it's quite clear what's going to happen, right? Of course, you always have changes in the winter break that can change that, but nonetheless, it's still it's still unlikely. Okay, especially if it's a first place team. I think it's more likely for a last place team to have some changes, for players to leave to a better team, or what have you. I think good teams go through that as well with players that are not playing. Okay, but anyways, going back to what the topic is yes, the situation is still there's still no green light. It's still no green light for football, and what is most likely going to happen, and by most likely I mean is going to happen, is a break. Right, everybody has a break right now, and this break is actually going to continue. It's actually going to go until September. September 1st is the date that here in Germany was considered as the coming back date. So I think that's what's going to that's what's going to happen, at least here in Germany. And I think that's realistic. I think it's unrealistic to say that we're going to finish the season in the next month or two, just because the situation isn't. It's getting better, at least here in Germany, but it's not getting better in other places, right? And essentially, you still don't want crowds. Because the way I see it, we have, for example, just in the under 17 group, in my division, so the 5th tier, we have, like I said, 12 teams, meaning that there's 6 games per week, and in those 6 games, you also have fans. So if we just think about my division, okay, and then this is just one from many. Where you have one game, so we play 11 aside, and that's 22 players on the field plus the referee. We have only a ref in the center. There's no sideline refs, so that would be 23 players plus, let's say you have 3 substitutes. So now you have 23 players plus 3 substitutes plus 3 substitutes. That's 29 people in one area, plus the 2 coaches, 31. And let's say you have each team has an assistant coach. So now you're at 33 people. And then if we said even three sets of parents or 3 families come along, and let's just say that from those 3 families, there's 2 people that come per family. So we're at 33 plus 2, 4, 6 plus 2, 4, 6, so plus 12. So 33 plus 12, we have 45 people in essentially one game together in a space. Yeah, of course, if you're watching the game, you can separate yourself, but the players can't separate themselves. It's a contact sport. Right, so I think that's why the decision to wait until September is essentially a good one. The schools are still essentially closed here in Germany. There are certain not certain schools, but certain grades that opened up. For example, the students that are finishing up their high school career, they are allowed to come in and finish that, of course, following certain social distancing rules, um, as they apply here in Germany. But they are allowed to essentially finish and to do whatever they have to do. Some small businesses opened up as well, um, and essentially, what's allowed here is 800 square meters of facility. So there's big stores that close down certain parts of their shop so that they can abide to this 800 square meter place. But anyways, I mean that those are decisions that are being made, and it's directly impacting soccer. Because again, soccer is a contact sport, and yeah. So now, the next thing that I would like to mention now, that's the update. Okay, so the update is soccer is still a thumbs down, red light, still can't go. There is no proceeding as of now, and most likely not going to proceed until for a while. And well, that brings us to the next point. With the next point being that, so how do coaches essentially go about this situation? So I mean, you communicate with your players through different platforms, right? So for my team, we use WhatsApp, and I send messages through WhatsApp. Last week was the first week that I sent an actual kind of training plan. It was a 3-day training plan, and this week I will do the same. Just to not as essentially enforce a training route, not require like a training plan, but essentially a motivator to get up and do something, which I think is important during these times. That's why on my Instagram, for La Vida Fútbol, I also started last week to encourage people to exercise a little bit, and to I just offer little plans, right? And it's really just to motivate people for them to get up and to do something. Now, that is what I wanted to kind of proceed with. Okay, so how do you communicate with your players? Well, like I said, we use WhatsApp. There's also Zoom, a platform that you can use with your players. And in that Zoom platform, you can share your screen. So if you have something to show them, like, you can definitely do that through Zoom. And furthermore, you have like a page, like a whiteboard that you can also write on, so you can talk about certain tactics and movements, positions, discuss positions, and discuss tactical ideas. I think that is also something that could be helpful. And you can do one-on-one meetings, right? So if you need to talk to your players, you can do that through a one-on-one face chat Zoom meeting, which I think is very different from a phone call. But of course, phone calls also work, right? It just just checking in every once in a while, voice messages. Also, if you have like an Instagram page for your team, that could be the platform where your players get their exercises. They just check in, they get their exercises, they do them, and they can even share them, and then essentially build your social media platform, and essentially grow your team's social media number, and get more get more likes, get more follows, and then essentially that could also motivate your players to continue to want to do more. I think they would enjoy watching themselves train on their own, of course, because here in Germany, I think the yeah, we're still not allowed to be in groups of more than two. So that is something that I think week by week is improving in the sense of like, okay, you can probably meet with more people, but as of now, yeah, two people is all that you can meet with, and yeah, that's fine, right? I think that's okay. I think people should still stay at home anyways. Other than if you go out for grocery shopping, or just go for a walk, just whatever you need to stay mentally and physically healthy, which is important, of course. And yeah, so well, what else can you use? Well, you can make video, right? I make videos. In this channel, I make a lot of videos, and I put them on YouTube, and they're meant for coaches and players to learn from tactical decisions, tactical movements, books, training sessions, right? So those are all the things that we offer here on this channel. And yeah, which, by the way, if you're watching, thank you. There's at this moment there's one person watching, but thank you, and remember to subscribe. Right, I think that is also very helpful here with my channel. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like the videos, and third thing, comment if you want to continue learning with La Vida Fútbol. I'm more than happy to share information with you guys regarding football and football ideas, and have discussions, open discussions about what your guys' opinions are with respect to the game. But that is it. Yeah, I think that's essentially the update from me here in Germany. So youth soccer is still a no-go. Training is still a no-go. Professional teams have not improved, but they have started training again. They started small group training, and I think they may be starting to play in empty stadiums starting May. But we will see how that goes. I think anything can change because I think since Easter, people have been a little bit more relaxed. I've seen a lot more people, out in the streets walking about, and I think that may be counterproductive. Of course, the weather is nicer, and people are trying to enjoy this nice weather. So I think that has a little bit of impact, or that could have a lot of impact in the next 1 to 3 weeks. So we can, so we'll see what happens. And if the teams are going to play, they're going to have to be in quarantine as well, right? So these players, if they want to finish the season, they're going to have to not visit people. They're not going to be allowed to essentially meet with people, because any meeting outside of team environment and whoever you live with, of course, could be a potential risk of acquiring this virus. Okay. So anyways, thank you guys. If you watch this later, thank you guys for supporting my channel. Remember to subscribe. I appreciate any comments. I appreciate your likes, of course. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making more videos for you guys, and hopefully we'll try to do another update in a week or so. Because things are changing very quickly here. Okay, with respect to the virus, many things are changing, and they're changing fast. So yeah, I guess in a broad sense, it's it's very open. It's very open. Okay. Anyways, take care, stay healthy, respect the social distancing guidelines and regulations. I think they are important for your health and for the safety of others. So respect those, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care, everyone.